This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. EOJ says electors may request multiple letters of identity at once. The Electoral Office of Jamaica is reminding persons that they can request multiple-use letters of identity or several letters of identity at once. The letters may be used as identification to conduct business until the holder's voter identification card is ready. There have been reports of crowds at the EOJ's head office in Kingston as persons rush to get their letters since their ID cards have expired. Requests for letters of identity at the EOJ's head office at 43 Duke Street, Kingston are now being processed as a next day service and in 2 or 3 business days at constituency offices. We have made the letter open so it can be for multiple uses, and the current letters that we are issuing is valid until the end of February, said the Public Education Officer at the EOJ, Dania Harper. Harper said a number of institutions require that the letter of identity is addressed specifically to them, and so the EOJ has been allowing electors to make that request. At the same time, Harper said where electors require letters for several institutions, they should find out the requirements of each entity before requesting the letters of identity. If you need multiple letters, we are prepared to prepare them for you. So if it is that you need a letter for each of the institutions that you are doing business with, we are prepared to prepare the letters for you, she stated. Harper said the EOJ has been in constant dialogue with financial institutions and remittance agencies that require identification from customers. The EOJ is asking these institutions for leniency where possible with electors who present the EOJ-issued letters of identity. Digital birth certificate roll out in coming months. The rollout of digital birth certificates is the next on the agenda as the government gears up towards implementing the National Identification System that will see bedside birth registrations done electronically and millions of records stored at the Registrar's General Department digitized in coming months. On another of his mission stops since his appointment at the Office of the Prime Minister, Minister without Portfolio Floyd Green met with the managerial staff at the RGD on Friday to set up upcoming agenda for the government in positioning the agency as a crucial arm of the NIDS implementation. First on that agenda, said Green is laying the groundwork for a full NIDS rollout in 2023 with the provision of devices to bolster the department's bedside birth registration process. That is part of our bigger drive to use 2022 to put everything in place so that when we get to 2023, we can embark on our digital birth certificates. We want to move our birth certificates to a digital space, getting rid of the paper where people can get that electronically, Green announced. Ultimately, the process will involve the use of an app that is currently being developed to facilitate automatic uploads of bedside birth registration information to the RGD's digital registry, expected to be operational by the middle of this year with a pilot in Kingston and St. Andrew. Green stressed that as part of the NIDS rollout, key functions at the RGD will be bolstered, the most immediate of which will be the digitization of the department's bedside registration service. We want to take this a bit further. We want to make sure that that is done electronically, and we will be coming very shortly to hand over devices that will be used across the island to operationalize that electronic bedside registration service. Clearly, the RGD will play a massive role in the national identification system, starting with a pilot later this year, hopefully by the second half of this year, to get our pilot up and running in Kingston and St. Andrew to start actually producing national identification cards for Jamaicans. Chief Executive Officer at the RGD, Charlton McFarlane, told the news during a tour of the agency on Friday that the NIDS-supported digitization initiative will make the department more efficient by reducing the need for more storage space as well as manual labor. with the registry keeping watch over more than 7 million records dating as far back as 1655. McFarlane said the digitization process has already started, with about 25% of its records now taking digital form. This is the action point of the digitization project, McFarlane stressed. About 25% of the records have been digitized back to around 1990. We have strategically digitized the most current records going back. And with the digitization project, it will reduce the need for physical space. Psychologist calls holiday partygoers selfish after spike in COVID-19 cases. A leading psychologist has labeled the behavior of Jamaicans who attended parties while ignoring COVID-19 protocols over the Yuletide season as selfish. Professor of psychology at Northern Caribbean University, Dr. Arlene Brown Earl also believes that such people are unconcerned with the greater good of the nation. They are there partying, but they are going back home. A lot of them don't live alone. It's a selfish behavior. You're drinking, you're holding bottles and food plates that other people have touched. You're maskless, then you go back home to your grandmother, your parents, your children. That is just a selfish behavior. You're not thinking about the greater good or the bigger picture, Brown Earl told the news, adding that because the government had finally relaxed the curfew hours over the holidays by allowing the public to be out until 1 a.m. for Christmas and New Year's Day, and it is only natural that people would abuse it, Brown Earl said. The government fly the gate, so people just going to go out and have fun, not thinking of the side effects. She also said that in order for the government to get the public to adhere to the COVID-19 protocol implemented to fight the spread of the virus ravaging the country, they need to appeal to the emotions of people. You really want people to think about what is the greater good in all of this. Who benefits when I follow the rules, when I social distance, when I wear my mask, when I sanitize, and who benefits is the nation, the psychologist asked. Just keep on continuously sharing information. Keep bombarding people with what's happening, how it's affecting people, and how it appeals to their emotions and sensibility. Because they have been educated, the information is out there. So to me right now, I think it's about appealing to their emotions by using the facts, Brown Earl continued, explaining that the information that the government should be providing should be graphic enough to jolt people out of their so-called COVID-19 fatigue. Brown Earl noted that, as humans, when people see physical symptoms, such as sores or people coughing up blood, they tend to be more scared and therefore are more likely to act to protect themselves and their loved ones. Using the HIV crisis in Jamaica as an example of how the right information and imagery can impact how the public reacts to these dangers, Brown Earl said, when HIV just came out, they showed some really scary pictures of people because at that time they didn't have a lot of medication. That time when people went into the hospitals, they were scrawny with sores and the people behaved themselves by the time the medicine came in. However, Brown Earl said people are tired of hearing about wearing masks and sanitizing. The whole thing of wearing masks and other people are not wearing it and they are not getting sick either, so why should I? It's like they just can't bother anymore because they can't see the purpose of it. Sometimes some of us only jolted out of the fatigue when somebody they know personally died. So if they hear that their cousin died from COVID, then they probably put on the mask for the next couple of days until things calm down again. COVID fatigue is real, Brown Earl stated. U.S. Southern Command head completes high meetings in Jamaica. Head of the U.S. Southern Command, Army General Laura Richardson, left the island yesterday following high-level meetings which focused on the United States' bilateral defense ties with Jamaica. General Richardson, who arrived in the island on Thursday, met with Chief of Defense Staff Antoinette Williams Gorman yesterday for talks on security operation interest, threats, and challenges of mutual concern. General Richardson also held discussions with Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang on security cooperation opportunities in support of cyber engagements, local security, and combating illicit trafficking. The U.S. Southern Command, which is located in Florida, is one of 11 combatant commands in the United States Department of Defense. It is responsible for providing contingency planning, operations, and security cooperation for Central and South America and the Caribbean, and force protection of U.S. military resources at these locations. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.